Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're buying a fresh new pair of sandals so that we can climb a dune and watch the Viper playing as the teal poles take on KingstoNe playing as the red Berbers. Now while the players herd their herdables explore their immediate surroundings and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the respective civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now the poles are a civ that very much focuses on their cavalry. Pole scout line units do get a small attack bonus against archers and can actually be upgraded to do trample damage, which is very helpful since in the late game, poles are actually one of the only two civilizations in the game to have their hussars replaced with winged hussars, which are already tankier, stronger than hussars, with an attack bonus against gunpowder units, and if you can even imagine it, an even bigger attack bonus against monks. Now, if light cavalry isn't your bag, baby, and you prefer something a little bit heavier, pole knights and cavaliers can be upgraded to cost a lot less gold, 60% less gold, so it becomes much easier to spam these units starting in Castle Age. Now, on the field of battle, to back up their cavalry units, the poles can field their unique unit, the Obuch. This is a tanky, well-armored infantry unit whose attack actually reduces enemy armor, and I am talking about both melee and pierce armor by 1 with every single swipe of its giant warhammer. Now, to support the production of their food and gold intensive units, pole stone miners also generate gold, and their farmers have access to a unique structure called the Folwark, which replaces the mill, automatically adds 8% of the value of a farm seated within its radius, and also provides 5 population room. Now, the pole villagers themselves, under this tarp here hunting that elephant, are also harder to raid because, like Viking berserkers, they actually regenerate HP right from the start of the game, all the way up to 20 HP per minute in Imperial. It does get progressively better and better as the ages pass. Now, opposing the Viper, we've got KingstoNe as the Berbers, a civ that also very much pushes its players into the 4 welcoming hooves of cavalry. All Berber stable units are 15% cheaper in Castle Age, 20% cheaper in Imperial, which makes their hussars, let's call them super trash units. Now, Berber camels can also be upgraded to regenerate health, just like pole stone miners get automatically, and the Berbers can upgrade their castles to work 25% faster, both of which strongly benefit their first unique unit, the Camel Archer. This is a mounted archer unit with good HP, great speed, and an attack bonus against cavalry archers. Now, starting in Castle Age, the Berbers can also start training their second unique unit, the Genitor. This is a mounted skirmisher, basically, that comes with more HP but less range and does cost a little bit extra food. Now, on their economic front, to support their production of their army to get up to next age as fast as possible, all Berber villagers move 10% faster from the very, very start of the game. So we have potentially 2 incredibly powerful, fast civils with a map that is basically open. Rush distance not that great between the players. We'll see if the unique units of the Berbers come into play, or whether or not KingstoNe will have to get a little bit creative in his play in how he deals with the Viper. While the players continue to expand their settlements, 17 villagers a pop, 1 scout cavalry apiece. Let's actually take a look at their bases and see if any player is in a particular advantage or disadvantage. The Viper incredibly open to the south, of the east, and the north. His primary gold a little bit off campus to the north. His primary stone nice and secure in the back. His back can be walled off a little bit easier, but man, his front is completely open. Oh, and by the way, here is the Folwark. Take a look. When you click on it, it does establish a radius. I believe it's 4 tiles away from the actual structure. So any farm seated here does automatically add 8% of its value to your coffers at the top left of our screen. KingstoNe, let's take a look at his base. First thing you'll notice is secondary gold, primary stone, very forward facing, also completely open to the part of the map that is facing his opponent, the west and the south. The northwest, not a terrible place to wall off, but the northeast and the east also decent areas to wall off. Primary gold, nice and secure a little bit further away, whereas the Vipers is a little bit more forward facing, although both players not really sitting at that major of an advantage or disadvantage over the other. Now both players heading up to Feudal Age. Berber villagers with their faster movement speed already about what, a minute We'll say 50 seconds ahead of his opponent. We'll see what he decides to do with the additional time. He did go up on the back of fewer villagers. Barracks house being plopped down. Not surprised that he's creating a little bit of a tiny wall off. We'll see how KingstoNe decides to actually continue this. Okay, an immediate stable being built for him the second he reaches Feudal, as well as Lumberjack upgrades. His only, I guess not only, there's 1 and 2 here to the south. Will benefit those. Let's take a look at the Viper in about 18 seconds. What he'll do, he's also got his barracks already up. So these are 2 players who want to go immediately into military, if I had to guess. Although, as if you've watched my streams, my casts, anything that I put out here is, you know that the second I say a player is going to do X, the player does the exact opposite of X. Maybe Y, maybe Z, maybe D, and ABC. I don't know. The Viper walling off a big old chunk of the front portion of his base. My favorite bushes, the lemon bushes with the pretty blue butterflies, but now KingstoNe moves in, discovers it. Let's see what he decides to do with his vision. And let's follow along. Red dot streaming across the map must be that second scout that he already built. He is already caught up with the Viper in terms of villager count. Does run by a few villagers. Doesn't decide to turn around, sees the spearman, knows that it's, you know, he can't really rest too long here at the Viper's base. The Viper bringing his original scout back. Let's take a look at his vision. So he's basically discovered the tip of his opponent's base. He says, you know what, I kind of generally have an idea where you are. I'm going to bring my scout back to defend because I know I have the better unit here with the spearmen, but you have the unit that's much, much faster, and my spearmen need to engage. And your unit can basically run around them all the livelong day. So I'm going to keep vision on your unit with my fast unit. And then I'm going to position my spearmen perfectly so that if you try to enter the base, attempt to do anything here, I'll be able to react immediately. Great use of by the Viper of his 1 scout cavalry army supply. Identical. 4 scouts and a spearman versus 4 spearmen and a scout. So we have a bit of a funhouse mirror situation where up is down, left is right. The players building basically a mirror composition of each other. Let's see what KingstoNe can do here. For now, he's just circling his opponent's base. The Viper doing a good job of zoning him out, but KingstoNe not really accomplishing much here. 1 kill for the Viper, that scout that did die here in the hot Arabian sun. Scout to the south also trying to explore if there's an opening, sees the wall off. How annoying is this? You know, lakes and things in Arabia are very much... Oh, looks like KingstoNe did get one of the Viper's villagers here. She lies dead on the very palisades she was sent to build. Poetic justice at its finest. But as I was saying, on Arabia, lakes can be a blessing or a curse. How many of us have missed 1 tile or 2 tiles needed to wall them off completely, only to discover when an enemy army is inside our base that, uh-oh, I forgot to put a little palisade wall here. I forgot to take that into account. The Viper, though, not his first time at this rodeo, immediately walls off basically the entirety of his base. Okay, so the Viper has encircled himself with palisades and structures, a archery range, and a blacksmith going up. That should give him the 2 structures he needs in order to go up to castle. He is starting to bank resources. And for now, I think he believes he has enough of an army here to keep KingstoNe out, which will allow him to go up to castle pretty damn quickly. But KingstoNe has not given up yet. More and more red units streaming across the map. Very defensive spearman, making sure that the Viper doesn't try to incur into his base. Let's see what he's building. He's got the archery range. He's got that stable that he plopped down basically the second he got up to Feudal. Villager count identical. Spearmen dying to these archers. Fantastic use of by KingstoNe of these archers. 3 kills, 4 kills now. He is picking off spearmen left, right, and center. KingstoNe playing a few mind games here, producing 4 scouts, forcing out a bunch of spearmen, and then sniping them with archers. The problem for him is his units are now, their HP is not the greatest, so their longevity is not the highest, and his opponent is up to castle. Literally, before KingstoNe even has the gold needed to go up to castle, or the food, or anything really except the 2 structures. More and more red dots streaming across the map. We'll see what KingstoNe does when he realizes in a minute and a half that the Viper is in castle. Although, take a look at his resources now. Starting to bank a huge amount. And now is also going up to castle. He must have seen the dip in the score above the Viper, who now is hovering at the... I guess he doesn't really know it because he hasn't seen, but he's hovering around the eastern border of KingstoNe's base. KingstoNe really trying to make an issue of it here to push the Viper off this primary gold of his. The only other gold in his base is here in the back. A long distance for these villagers to go. I think KingstoNe can engage here. I mean, oh no, never mind. Look at these 2 scouts with basically no HP. One does get picked off even by a unit as weak as a skirmisher. Man, those quicker moving Berber villagers really are just absolutely incredible. And KingstoNe now basically only a minute and 15 seconds behind his opponent to castle. But let's see what the Viper now does with his time advantage. 1 town center, 2 town centers going up for him on the back of 34 villagers. KingstoNe with a villager lead. Walling off. Yeah, the spearman now is not enough. You are in castle. There's absolutely no way that spearman will be able to handle anything anything basically stronger than a scout cav out of the Viper, who for some reason continues to just hang out here, not exploring his opponent's base. 5 skirmishers moving forward. Viper pretty damn confident getting economic upgrades at the moment. Although he is housed at 45. I wonder if he's relying a little bit too much on these town centers going up. Nope, never mind. Builds a full work. Remember, this does add population room. So now he is unhoused. Oh, that sounds a little weird, unhoused. Right? Kind of sounds like he lost his house, when the exact opposite is true. No longer housed, it sounds even worse. So I'm just going to say supply blocked and not supply blocked. Our first Berber knight making his way out should be able to get all 5 of these skirmishers. This is a pretty arduous journey for them. Let's see. This is like a anyone here who reads fantasy novels or any kind of adventure action novels knows whenever the good guy sets out on an adventure with a group of 5 companions, it is incredibly likely that not all 5 are going to return home. In this case, 1, 2 do fall. A third one does fall as well. But our hero and his friend, Frodo and Sam, have made it home just as they become elites. And now this knight is going to explore. He's going to see the second town center. What is the Viper doing with this scout? Just hanging out. Okay, we'll see if that's if that's for anything or if he's just forgotten about it. Second town center up for our Berber. Third town center just now starting. I say just now starting, but the villagers aren't even there to build it yet. Full work villagers in a little bit of trouble. These farmers need to get out of Dodge. This is an incredibly exposed location for the full work. I get it. He had his berries here, but not too sure that this is exactly where the Viper wants to have the majority of these villagers, especially now that KingstoNe has broken into his base. 19 army supply to 7. KingstoNe only down 4 villagers. More and more spearmen getting sniped. And let's see what he can do here with this small force of units. Viper deciding to put up an emergency castle. Incredibly defensive positioning, but a castle is a castle and does shoo away this little diverse army of crossbows, Dark Age Scout, Camel, and a Knight. KingstoNe literally throwing the kitchen sink at his opponent. I just said that word. I just realized I said that word like Chris Traeger from Parks and Recreation, literally sounding like Rob Lowe. Although you could sound as something worse, I guess. 55 villagers to 59, 22 army supply to 8. The problem for KingstoNe is unless he pivots north, all he's doing right now is taking farms down. Although, you know, not exactly the worst use of units. Not that I think the Viper is going to repopulate this area with farmers, seeing as how exposed it is. But KingstoNe sending more and more units. A 4th town center going up for him. Finally, the Viper Scout makes itself known. KingstoNe, no doubt, having to deal with that annoying alarm that goes off when a unit or a building is under attack, only to discover that, hey, it's a scout with 0 kills and 16 HPs. HP. The villager, I think, can even kill this scout, but decides not to. He's moving into the base with his cavalry. Okay, we'll see what KingstoNe's deciding to do here. For now, not exactly a coordinated attack out of him, trying to basically just pick off as many units as he can. 14 kills to 4 of those for our villagers. I wonder if he's better reversing his armies here, if the crossbows would be better here in the back of the base, and if these mounted units would be better here attacking the skirmishers. Oh, if he could just get a few mounted units here to surprise the Viper. Oh, one knight, I don't know, against 8 skirmishers, they can disperse, they can run left, right, up, and down, and basically tickle away at his HP. But now the Viper sees these knights coming out, should be retreating. Yeah, you got to get back into the safety of your town center firing zone, and it's a very, very aggressive siege workshop here. KingstoNe has closed the gap in terms of villagers. No surprise, he needed 4 town centers to get there. And let's see what he does with that. Army supplies getting closer, though. The Viper inching up, getting ballistics, getting scale barding armor, wheelbarrow as well, going up for both of them. Stone mining for our Berber. I read, interestingly, that, by the way, the stone mining gold generation of the Poles is apparently not affected by the stone gathering upgrades. So if you upgrade your stone miners, it's still basically 1 gold for every 3 stone. Oh, Schlachter? Schlachter privileges being researched for the Viper. 60% less gold to produce knights and cavaliers. We'll see exactly how many of those he decides to produce. For now, though, he's baiting his opponent with a bunch of elite skirmishers. Not sure... but look at his upgrades. Husbandry, bloodlines. Yeah, this is a player who's very much interested in making a tech switch here to cavalry, which should absolutely overwhelm whatever KingstoNe has got here. The majority of his force is ranged, with a few knights with, how's their HP? Not terrible, down about 10%. KingstoNe upgrading his farmers as well. Where are you going? This one enterprising villager. I like what KingstoNe is doing here, by the way, with these outposts. Look at this vision. Not perfect in that it, you know, they're still missing about 7 or 8 tiles here to the south. But take a look at this. He sees exactly what the Viper's doing the second the Viper does it. But we'll see. We'll see how long the Viper can handle this. 15 knights on the production tab. KingstoNe should see the production of this construction of this stable, should know that there's a clock on this army now, and the Viper says the clock has struck midnight. Oh my goodness. Skirmishers picking off crossbows, knights destroying both siege units. Oh my god, what are the upgrades on these? We have a 0+1 for our Berber and a 0+1 for our Pole. I mean, I know, guys, I know I can just look at the top right and the top left of the screen, but I like to actually click the unit and see. And now our Pole, take a look at army supply, 26 to 10, although again he's housed the Viper at 130. Finally builds a house. Another full work should add some population space. Not a lot, though. But my goodness, is he getting housed left, right, and center. Uncharacteristic by the Viper, by the way. Oh, yeah. Is there anything nicer than a synchronized attack here? Look at this. Look at this row. Throw them in a pool, send them to the Olympics. These knights know exactly how to synchronize their attack. Camels are out for our Berber. Not a terrible tech switch. Getting forging, going up to Imperial, way ahead of his opponent. His opponent's still basically at half the resources needed. Castle has gone up in the meantime as well. Camel archers coming out, but oh my goodness. This is quite a body of knights. 23 knights run straight into that castle, discover that it's there, and then pivot immediately away. What is the Viper building? Siege workshops. We'll see what that's for. No doubt, probably, if I had to guess, rams. And now our Berber has massed a small army of camels. They pass each other and they say, absolutely not. I do not want to engage with you. Then turn around and change their mind. What are we working with here, by the way? 12 camels, 23 knights. He has to run away. Does our red Berber. He cannot engage into this right now. Viper also sending groups of knights to the south. I think he's going to be a little bit disappointed to not find anything. And let's see what he can do here. With so many knights, 38 knights, getting attack upgrades on them as well. Iron casting, but heavy camel, barding, bloodlines, all on the menu for our Berber, who needs to hold the line here. Villagers are repairing. He's got nothing at home. If these knights can break in, it is going to be absolute bedlam, an absolute disaster for our Berber. And let's see, these camels are now chasing the knights. We'll keep an eye out on that. Let's take a look at the camels, the knights rather. Okay, they busted through. Let's see if they can make an issue of it. But I'm seeing, while I'm looking at this, I am seeing a teal dot, rather a bunch of teal dots in a blob moving towards the center of the map. What are we working with here? I love the use of the one spearman. 11 knights, 2 rams, and that spearman that made me chuckle are now moving in. What's inside these battering rams? The spearmen, okay. But we've got camels here. They are going to defend this, I think, quite well. A 3rd battering ram. Knights not really doing anything. Gathering here. A 4th ram moves in from the north as well. This castle is very much in trouble. Oh no, it looks like the knights have broken into the to Kingstone's base. We'll keep an eye on that with a picture-in-picture. I really want to see what happens here, though. Okay, red looks like he's going to clean this up. And now let's keep it. Let's go back to these knights. How many kills on these knights? We've got only 1 kill, 2 kills on them. A little underwhelming. 11 kills on these ones. Okay, so a little bit better. How much of those are economic? Oh, they died before we could find out. But it looks like these knights are being cleaned up, though. Kingstone has been knocked down to 120 villagers, 8 of which are idle. Heavy camel versus knight. Not exactly a fight that the Viper should really be taking right now. And these 3 knights with their 3 kills and their absolute dog shit HP, a 1/3 of their HP left only. Let's see what they decide to do. A castle going up. He does not want to get raided. Beautiful King of the Hill castle here. Look at this. Absolutely wonderful by the Viper, who, by the way, is now also clicking up to Imperial, though Kingstone going there, getting there first, rather, with a huge time advantage. Leo the Lion really wants to get these knights, but they will outrun. He will eventually get bored, lose interest, and probably stop, although we'll see if he... Oh my god! Oh, he decides to turn around and go after the villager. Oh my goodness. Now we've got a bit of a fracas here in front of the base of the Viper. Obuchs are out. Let's take a look at their upgrades. +2, +1, although going to be +2, +2 in a second. Light cav upgrade, stone mining upgrade, gold mining upgrade. Imperial not yet reached for the Viper. He is getting anything and everything under the sun. The second he hits Imperial, he is going to have a very functioning economy and some very, very heavy hitting units. Let's see exactly what's going to happen once that happens. But for now, 40 knights against 30 heavy camels. The heavy camels probably take that, but not for long. 7 seconds away. He's got the take a look at the Viper's resources. He definitely has enough for a cavalier or 2. Oh my goodness, more and more knights running around. But both players moving in towards each other's bases. Heavy camels here discover Obuchs, discover the castle, back away. Camel archers, a good introduction into the army. A mix, I think, here for red. But now the Viper has yet again descended on our Berber base. He is relentless, and he is spreading out his units, trying to bust his way in here. Look at his upgrades. He's getting Elite Obuch. He's getting Cavalier Blast Furnace. That's a good upgrade to get almost immediately. Does take a long time upgrading his farms, getting Arson, getting Conscription. So he wants his infantry to be built quicker and take down buildings even faster. Oh, a gap here to this east of the Red's base, but he notices it. Oh my god. Oh my god. These are now Cavaliers. Oh my goodness. This is going to be absolutely disastrous here for both players. They are going to lose a lot of units each. Let's take a look at what we're working with. Basically identical quantities, identical HP. Whoever gets the better surround here will definitely take this fight. An extra camel moving in here. Oh my goodness, another castle going up for the Viper and a big old body of obuchs coming. These should be elite now, no? They are elite, 95 HP. Lectic Legacy, or Lectic Legacy as well. How many scout line units does he have? Only 6. So the Viper seems to be making a transition into light cav. He is completely out of gold. These were cleaned up in spectacular fashion. What a bloodbath. But now the obuchs are here and the Viper is swinging to winged hussars. Lectic, by the way, that upgrade is the one that adds the if I didn't mention, that adds trample damage to his light cavalry units. What's the area of effect? This is half a tile. That is a huge area of effect. Obuchs moving in. Let's see what they can get done. They are attacking a house. No doubt Red will try to repair that. Now we've got a bit of a standoff here. Now the game is starting to get very, very multi-pronged, very annoying. One obuch shooing away an entire villager line. Just surround the obuch and kill him. Oh no, going for a castle instead. Oh, these like have find a good old juicy body of villagers. But like I said, things are exploding now at the 44-minute mark of the game. More cavalry, camel archers. I thought they were a good mix because I thought the Viper was going pure obuch. Instead, he is surprising me as well by going winged hussars. But with a camel, with villagers repairing it, with this many, with camel archers rather. Our Berber is also now going light cav, although just now getting the upgrade. So he was basically throwing scout cavalry units. Viper looks like he's running out of steam here, though. Castle does fall, but the Viper lost a huge amount of army. He has basically lost all of his heavy hitting cavalry units, down to 15 obuchs and only 30 winged hussars. Red managed to get this castle up. But another run by here by these winged hussars. Their HP is terrible, but there's really nothing to contest. They're in the back of the base now as well, as are these obuchs who remain alive. My goodness, the Viper is starting to pick our Red Berber apart. Our Red Berber retreating. At least his reaction time is good. Lots of us would have probably lost 15, 20, 30 villagers and then realized, oh, wait a second, why is my economy so shit? Oh yeah, that's because I just lost 10, 20, 30 villagers. But KingstoNe pulls them, puts them in a town center, kills all the obuch, should be able to take care of these hussars as well. Their upgrade's not the greatest. Remember, Pole's missing the last defensive upgrade for their oh god, prematurely withdraws his villagers from the town center, and this one hussar is going to continue running amok. He's doing as well as he can with these camel archers. 56 kills on them. Absolutely messy and disgusting. But look, Viper to the north with obuchs, Viper to the south with light cav, rather winged hussars at this point. Oh my goodness. Does get a treb. Should be able to pick off one more before these camels get absolutely wrecked by everything that the Viper has. Might even be able to get the third. Should be able to get the third now. Fantastic play here by KingstoNe. Absolutely wonderful. But again, Viper to the south, Viper to the north, Viper to the northeast with a farming colony of his own. KingstoNe has already filled this castle. Not much room for many more units. Probably would have been better putting in these camel archers. Trying to lure the obuchs away with the villagers. Instead, though, the camel archers getting 77 kills. What an absolute baller battalion of Berber camel archers. That is a lot of alliteration. But take a look at this. This is still happening. And now these obuchs have, I guess, enjoyed their vacation long enough. They're finally moving in. How many kills on these guys? 23 kills on these winged hussars. For some reason, KingstoNe not bringing his camel archers back. They're pretty damn fast at 1.54. Not too sure why he's not bringing them back. Instead, they're continuing here. Does he think he can hold on to here with a castle and a few town centers? A fresh group moving in, and oh yeah, not surprised. Take a look at KingstoNe's villager count. Like I said, losing 10, 20, 30 villagers. He lost more than 30 villagers here. Absolutely picked apart by the Viper. Look at this. His town centers are in garrison, and look how much empty, how many empty wood lines, how many empty farms. KingstoNe is now going to have to invest a significant amount of resources into building his economy back up. He's got enough food for 7 villagers. But do you think he should have GG'd? I mean, he still got this army here. 20 camel archers, 85 kills. Not a single economic kill, though. Look at the Viper. Primary wall off, secondary wall off, primary, secondary. He is walled off to the south entirely. To the north, he's got these 2 hill castles with 2 trebs playing shortstop here between second and third base. Full works up and running. I mean, I guess the Berber could have snuck in through the back. Does he even have vision of this part of the map? No, he does not. So he doesn't know about this. Just economically absolutely ruined. His army supply is down about 9, and more of these winged hussars are being produced. 15 in the production tab, 31 already on the map. Let's take a look at the stats, but 155 light cav and winged hussars compared to 78 camels, heavy camels. APM pretty good for both players at the middle of the game. Economically, my goodness, look at this. 18,000 resources more off the back of 4 relics. I didn't pay attention to any relic gathering. This game has had so much action in it. I am shocked that in the middle of everything, the Viper still managed to get 4 relics and exceeded his opponent in all 4 resources. Although, if you remove the relics, actually our red Berber got a little bit more gold, but a little bit more stone for the Viper, a lot more food for the Viper. And basically wood is identical. How many villagers on food did he have? 89 villagers on food. Oh my goodness. Full works everywhere. How many stables does our blue, rather teal pole have? 12 stables, a good amount of stables to have. But again, just way too many multi-pronged attacks, way too many villager losses here for red. And despite the fact that he has this incredibly experienced old battalion of 20 camel archers with, again, 85 kills on them, and despite the fact that the Viper was heavy on the infantry, so these very quick mounted units could run circles around them, the Viper's tech switch to winged hussars was just way too much, and our red Berber just did not have the I guess the time or the interest or ability in walling himself off. Had he walled himself off, maybe here to the east, here to the east, and this part to the west, maybe he could have withstood the aggression a little bit better. He definitely has advanced notice of this army barreling down on him. 13 hussars are attacking this outpost, but this is annoying. You see 13 hussars when there's already how many? 7 barreling down towards your base, and the obuchs have just opened up a new avenue of attack for them. 5 kills on them already. They are an incredibly underrated unit in this game, the Obuch. It is absolutely a very, very powerful unit. Remember that any reduction in armor that they cause is permanent until the unit either dies or is healed. Well, I mean, dies, I guess, that goes without saying. But yeah, if they attack you and reduce your armor, it is permanent. Let's see if any of these guys are hurt and if they took any Obuch. Yeah, take a look at that. Look at that armor, 1-1. Compared to the, well, I guess it's just the +1 because he didn't even fully upgrade his camel archers, KingstoNe, running out of resources. Meanwhile, the Viper rich as a joke, 1,100 stone, 1,100 gold. But yeah, that's incredible. The 1-1 basically stays there until, again, the unit dies or is healed. Very underrated unit. If you haven't tried using it, definitely recommend having some fun with that unit. But man, the Viper just poking and prodding, pulling our red Berber apart by the seams, killing at the end of the game more and more villagers. Look at the kill count, 123 villagers. So even though the Viper has only killed half of the military that KingstoNe killed, he still ends up getting the W. That is the absolute mayhem and fun of Age of Empires. Our Berbers an incredibly fast civilization with some very fun units. But the Viper with a 1-2 punch here, first with the heavier units of the Cavalier and the Obuchs, and then the follow-up by Winged Hussars was just too much for KingstoNe, who taps out. Viper gets the big W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.